Coast. They said the Great Pyrenees was overreacting. He wasn't reacting to anything they could see. That was exactly the problem. Milo was 22 months old and had been pointing at things for approximately 4 months, which in the life of a toddler is a geological era. He pointed at birds. Coast. He pointed at trucks. He pointed at the Great Pyrenees, who was named Frost and weighed 115 pounds, and was by any measure the most pointable thing in the house. Coast. Frost had never been a reactive dog. He moved through the house slowly and with the dignity of an animal that has decided everything happening around is acceptable. He tolerated the pointing. He tolerated the ear-grabbing. Coast. He tolerated Milo's periodic experiments with climbing, which the toddler had been attempting since he learned to pull himself upright. Then Frost began blocking the hallway to Milo's room. Coast. Not dramatically, he would lie across the hallway entrance and Milo would try to get past him and Frost would not move. Milo would try pushing. Frost was 115 pounds. Milo was 26. The math was not competitive. Coast. Milo's mother, Danica Perez, would redirect him around the house or lift him over Frost entirely. She had tried telling Frost to move. He would stand, wait for Milo to be redirected, and then lie back down. Coast. Her partner, Theo, Googled it. The results suggested territorial sleeping behavior, a common Pyrenees trait. The breed was historically a flock guardian and would naturally station itself at thresholds. The hallway was a threshold. Frost was doing what Pyrenees did. Coast. Danica shared this with her sister, who said, "He just wants to be where the action is. He's bored. He needs more walks." Both answers were available. Danica took the one that required less investigation. Coast. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Coast. For 6 days, Frost lay at the hallway entrance. For 6 days, Danica redirected Milo, or carried him. On the 6th evening, Milo developed a cough. Not serious, the mild cough of a toddler in a dry season. Coast. On the 7th morning, Frost was not at the hallway. He was at Milo's bedroom door, pressed against it, nose at the gap at the bottom, breathing in long, deliberate pulls. Danica stood in the hallway and watched him for a full minute. She opened Milo's bedroom door. Coast. The room smelled wrong. Not strongly, not the way a gas leak smelled in movies. A faint sweetness, a slight staleness, a quality of air that had been circulating without the right content for too long. Coast. She crossed to the window and opened it. Frost walked past her to the vent on the north wall and stood at it, nose to the vent slats, breathing. Danica called the HVAC company. They came that afternoon. Coast. The technician's equipment registered elevated carbon monoxide at the vent in Milo's bedroom. The reading was not at the alarm threshold of any consumer CO detector. It was at a level that over 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night for a toddler was producing a cumulative exposure that had clinical significance. Coast. He put a scope in the duct. The furnace heat exchanger had a microfracture. 6 days old, based on the corrosion pattern. 6 days. The furnace was replaced. The house was ventilated for 48 hours. Milo's cough resolved within a week. Coast. The pediatrician, Dr. Amaro Ose, reviewed the exposure timeline and the symptom presentation. Coast. Low-level carbon monoxide exposure in toddlers, she explained, could produce subtle respiratory irritation, disrupted sleep, and behavioral changes before any adult in the household registered symptoms due to the smaller respiratory volume of a child relative to the concentration being inhaled. The dog, Danica said. Coast. Dr. Ose looked at her. The dog blocked the hallway for 6 days. Then he moved to the bedroom door. Then he stood at the vent. Coast. Dr. Ose was quiet for a moment. Dogs have an olfactory sensitivity to combustion byproducts approximately 100,000 times greater than humans. At the concentrations you're describing, a human would not detect anything a dog would register, a clear and consistent chemical signal. Coast, has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Coast? Danica thought about Frost at the hallway for 6 days. Frost at the bedroom door. Frost at the vent. 3 positions, in order, narrowing the source the way a search pattern narrows, the way you work toward the center of something when you cannot say what it is, but you know where it's coming from. Coast. She thought about Theo Googling territorial sleeping behavior. She thought about her sister saying he needs more walks. She thought about what 6 nights of accumulated exposure meant to a 22-pound toddler in a room with a microfractured heat exchanger. Coast. Frost was given a new bed that week, positioned in the hallway outside Milo's door. He used it every night. Danica left the door open 6 inches. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Coast? He lay in the hallway and faced the door, and his breathing was slow and even, and the house smelled of clean air. and Milo slept in a room that no longer had anything in it that needed to be found. That was enough. Coast. Some nights, Danica would check the monitor and see Frost's white shape at the door, still and large and present, and feel the weight of what it means that this animal with no language and no credentials had narrowed a chemical search pattern to a vent cover in a toddler's bedroom. Coast. And the only thing that had almost stopped him was that everyone around her had a perfectly reasonable explanation for why he was doing something else. Coast. The next story involves a Labrador who refused food for 4 days, and what the blood test showed on the 5th morning